Look around you. We live in an era that the greatest kings, conquerors, and emperors of the ancient world could not have even hallucinated. You have infinite knowledge resting in your pocket. You have food from across the globe delivered to your door with the press of a glass screen. You live in climate-controlled boxes that protect you from the freezing winters and the boiling summers. We have eradicated the daily, physical struggles that defined human existence for thousands of years. We have built a utopia of absolute convenience, yet stop for a moment and look closer. Look into the eyes of the people walking down the street. Look at the endless anxiety, the depression, the quiet desperation that plagues modern society. Look into your own mirror. Why, in this paradise of absolute comfort, are we so deeply miserable? Why are our minds so fragile? Why does a delayed text message, a bad Wi-Fi connection, or a minor disagreement send us into a spiral of emotional chaos? The answer is a dark truth that modern society tries to hide from you. Comfort is a slow, silent poison. It is a velvet prison that we have willingly locked ourselves inside. The human mind and the human body were not designed for constant ease. Like a master-crafted sword left sitting in a velvet scabbard for decades, a life without friction causes the soul to rust. To understand why comfort destroys us, you must understand the trap of your own biology. Your brain is a machine designed to solve problems and overcome threats. When you remove all physical and mental struggle from your environment, you do not achieve lasting peace. Instead, your mind begins to invent problems. It lowers its threshold for what it considers a crisis. When a man has never faced true starvation, he will complain bitterly that his coffee is too cold. When a man has never walked 10 miles in the freezing rain, he will curse the world because his car's air conditioning is slightly broken. This is the hedonistic treadmill. The more comfort you accumulate, the more comfort you require just to feel normal. Your baseline for happiness constantly shifts upward, while your tolerance for pain drops to zero. Today, your comfort is quietly destroying your potential. You trade your ambitions for the cheap, effortless dopamine of a scrolling screen. You choose the soft bed over the morning discipline. You choose the easy lie over the difficult truth, simply to avoid an uncomfortable conversation. Every single time you choose the path of least resistance, you are casting a vote for a weaker, more fragile version of yourself. You are telling your own nervous system that you are not capable of enduring hardship. And over time, your brain believes it. You become terrified of failure, terrified of judgment, terrified of life itself. History is a graveyard of civilizations that died of comfort. Look at the Roman Empire. In its early days, Rome was built by hardened farmers, disciplined soldiers, and stoic leaders who valued duty above all else. They conquered the known world because they were unbreakable. But what happened when they reached the top? Wealth flooded the city. The descendants of those hardened soldiers began to bathe in heated pools, eat exotic birds, and drink from lead cups. They outsourced their labor to slaves and their wars to mercenaries. They became soft. They became obsessed with pleasure, entertainment, and luxury. The Colosseum became a distraction for a weak populace. And when the barbarian tribesmen who were still hardened by the freezing forests and the brutal reality of survival finally knocked on the gates of Rome, the empire did not just fall from the outside. It crumbled from within. Its spine had already rotted away. Hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men. And weak men create hard times. We are living in the era of weak men. We are the descendants of the late Roman Empire, drowning in our own luxury, waiting for the walls to fall. 2,000 years ago, the Roman statesman and philosopher Seneca recognized this exact danger. Seneca was not a monk living in a cave. He was one of the wealthiest and most powerful men in the Roman Empire. He had access to every luxury, every pleasure, and every comfort the ancient world could offer. Yet, he understood the terrifying danger of becoming dependent on that luxury. He knew that the man who relies entirely on comfort is a slave to it. If his comfort is taken away, he shatters into 1,000 pieces. So, what did Seneca do? He practiced a concept called voluntary hardship. Seneca, a billionaire of his time, would regularly leave his luxurious palace. He would sleep on the hard, cold ground. He would eat the stale bread of a peasant. He would wear the clothes of a beggar and drink only water. He did not do this to punish himself. He did this to immunize himself. He was intentionally exposing himself to the very things most men spend their entire lives running away from: poverty, hunger, and discomfort. By facing the worst-case scenario on his own terms, he stripped away its power over him. He realized that poverty was just a state of being, not a monster in the dark. He realized he could survive, and even thrive, with almost nothing. And because he was no longer afraid of losing his wealth, he became untouchable. What is the antidote to the disease of modern comfort? How do you cure the rot in your own soul? You must become the architect of your own struggle. You must practice the deliberate, daily choice to seek out the difficult path. This is not about torturing yourself. It is about calibrating your mind. Tomorrow morning, when you step into the shower, turn the handle all the way to cold. Feel the shock in your chest. Feel your mind screaming at you to turn it back to warm, and then stay there. Breathe through the panic. Command your body to obey your will. Go to the gym and lift the heavy weight until your muscles burn. That physical resistance is the exact same mechanism that builds mental resilience. Fast for 24 hours, feel the primal ache of hunger in your stomach, and realize that you will not die from missing a meal. Leave your phone in another room for a whole day and sit in absolute, deafening silence. Have the courage to look at your own thoughts without the pacifier of constant entertainment. By intentionally injecting small, controlled doses of pain and discomfort into your daily life, you build an impenetrable fortress around your mind. You remind your primitive brain that you are a survivor. You break the chains of the hedonistic treadmill. When you choose the hard path voluntarily, the involuntary hardships of life lose their terrifying grip on you. The world is entirely unpredictable. You do not control the economy. You do not control the geopolitical landscape. You do not control disease, accidents, or the actions of other people. The velvet walls of the prison we have built will eventually, inevitably, collapse. The storm is coming. It always does. The question is not if hard times will arrive, but who you will be when they do. Will you be a fragile creature, weeping for the Wi-Fi, the soft bed, and the easy life you lost? Will you shudder at the first sign of real adversity because you spent your entire life avoiding the cold? Or will you be a stoic, a man who has already walked through the fire, a man who stands tall amidst the ruins and the chaos, completely unfazed because he has already conquered the worst the world has to offer within his own mind? Comfort is the enemy of human greatness. It is the assassin of your potential. Stop running to the warmth. Step out into the freezing wind. Embrace the cold. Embrace the struggle. Fall in love with the friction of life. Break the chains of your own comfort and watch how absolutely unbreakable you become.